Welcome back. This is World Cup 2026 Extra Time. My name is Steven Rabinowitz. I am here with you talking about the first World Cup semifinal between France and Spain. And, wasn't a lot of a battle because Spain, who were the underdogs going into this game. It's funny. You would think a team that, and again, I picked France too, so I'm a preserve them. But when you look at it, you would think a team that won in the semifinals of the UEFA Nations League, going up 5-1, by the way, and then holding on to win 5-4, winning in the semifinals of the Euros, and winning with most of these same players with the same coach in the 2024 Olympics. You would think that would mean, maybe we should think Spain is the favorites. And guess what? Spain should have been the favorites because they dominated this game from start to finish. De La Fuente looked like the better manager today. This was a masterpiece that really finally showed the talent offensively that Spain can have, along with the discipline that they showed defensively. This was Spain's best performance by far in this World Cup, winning 2-0. And it really started with Yamin Lamal, who did not score today, but started to make chances for himself. And he got the biggest chance, taking advantage of that right back situation for France, where they're probably at their weakest, and drawing a penalty kick in the 22nd minute. And Oyarzabal netted it in. That's their best penalty kicker. He's never missed for club and country. He doesn't miss now. And Spain was off to the races. Now they had the 1-0 lead. But unlike previous games, I think Spain kind of didn't expect to win this game 1-0. So they really went for it, especially a lot in the first half. And I actually give them a lot of credit for them. He only ended up with 2 shots on target, but they ended up trying to create as many chances as they possibly could. And they really had everything locked down. And I think the one thing that I really enjoyed with Spain is the fact that they were ready to make a move when they needed to. You didn't see that really in a lot of this World Cup. You didn't see that versus Cape Verde. You didn't see that versus Uruguay. They didn't need to. You didn't see it versus Portugal. You saw it a little bit more versus Belgium, but they didn't really need to because they know that they could have won those games 1-0. I don't think they thought they could win this game 1-0, but they did end up shutting out France in the end. The second goal for Pedro Porro in the 58th minute was just France starting to kind of put the pressure on Spain a little bit more, and Spain being disciplined enough to basically beat that pressure every single time, get out of that pressure, and ending up with the defenseman Porro shooting a beautiful shot, because that was one of the last chances that they would really have in this game altogether. But they were okay with that. Once they scored, this game was over. This game was done and dusted. Spain, as I mentioned before when we did our preview, were one of the only teams who had a better expected goal average than regular goal average. They beat it today. Their expected was 1.63. They scored 2 goals. And for France, it was just a conundrum that they just really just Spain. You couldn't solve Spain. And now you look at this team. Well, by the way, Mbappe today, no chances created, a .09 expected goals. This was as bad of a game as it possibly could be. And he got a yellow card late in frustration for hounding the goalie or getting too close up into the goalie and kind of trying to make a challenge on them. So this was just a game where France kind of they looked terrible. They looked terrible in a lot of different ways. And again, they were made to look terrible in this game. I don't know what it was. I think you could probably have seen what a frustrating defense did for them when Paraguay faced them, because it was really bend but not break. And France kind of needed that one break going against them. And they never got the break against Spain because Spain was meant to be the team that's the bugaboo of France. And now, 4 meetings really over the last 2+ years, Spain has come out. I'm sorry, yeah, more than 4 meetings. Yeah, 4 meetings over the last 2+ years. Spain has come out on top over France, and now Mbappe, who does have a World Cup to his credit, but now ends up having to go back to Spain. Really, this is the country that has frustrated him the most. His club was not great last year in Real Madrid, and now he goes back thinking the next 4 years playing in a country that knocked him out of the World Cup. And again, that's only France's second ever loss in regular time in the knockout stage in 40 years of the World Cup. It's insane. The last time they did it was in 2014 to Germany. 10 shots for each team on the game. France got 3 on target, but most of their on target shots were late. 6-7. Spain had more chances created. Again, the corners more late for France than anything else. Possession was almost 50-50, but again, Spain didn't really need possession. They were up pretty much for about 30 plus minutes of this, over 30 plus minutes of this game. And when they were up 2-0, I think they would have signed up for 2-0, and they got 2-0. And this is just, it sucks for Didier Deschamps. This will be his, I guess, his last competitive game. He'll play on Saturday for the third. They'll play on Saturday for third place, but Luis de la Fuente is never lost in his career with Spain, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think we kind of underestimated Spain going into this game, and I don't know if they turned on the Jets in any way, shape, or form, but they did it here, and they will be the overwhelming favorites, in my opinion, to win on Sunday and to win their second World Cup. And remember, they're hosting partially, but they're going to host the final of the 2030 World Cup as well. So there are going to be a lot of favorites. Yamal, by the way, Rodri looked amazing out there today. He is as much of a person, much of a guy who really made sure that as a captain to lead the charge out there without actually scoring a goal. That's how you play the game. And Yamal started to play his best, but everywhere you look, there are stars on this team, and it's just insanity. And I think going forward, we're going to see a lot of Spain, really. And I mean, we've seen him in the national spotlight for years, but this could be one of the most unbeatable teams that we've seen in history of international football. And they're looking, again, they actually, with a win on Sunday, they're now tied for the longest ever unbeaten streak in international play. Ironically enough, Italy holds that spot from 2018 to 2021, but they never made the World Cup. So Spain can actually beat that record on Sunday, 38 consecutive games without a loss in international play, and that will get them a World Cup trophy, their second, and will make them, again, one of the more dominant teams that we've seen in this era. So that is Sunday. France will play either England or Argentina. They will play the loser in the World Cup third place game. It'll be in Miami on Saturday afternoon / night at 5. Or so that'll be that case. But Spain will either get a matchup with England, which was the final of Euro 2024, which was the final of the last women's World Cup in 2023, or we will get Spain Argentina in a game that was supposed to be played for the UEFA Cup of Champions back earlier this year because of this in Doha, Qatar. That was supposed to be played in late March, but because of the security situation in the Middle East, that didn't happen. So if we get Spain or Argentina in the final, we can talk more about the fact that these two teams were supposed to meet for a European South American Nations Cup in a match that never materialized. Now they might meet for the World Cup. We are on Instagram at WCE Time. We are on Facebook at WC 2026 Extra Time. That's Facebook and YouTube. We'll talk tomorrow when we recap England and Argentina, two bitter rivals going at it at Atlanta for the final spot in the World Cup final.